Hi, my name is Alec Osland. I'm an attorney at the Yanowitz Law Firm, where we've been helping Minnesota families with wills, trusts, and probate for over 3 decades. Today, we're going to talk about, preventing the top 5 will and trust mistakes that we see. In this discussion, we are going to be exploring common mistakes, practical examples, and tips on how to avoid them. So the first mistake, the costly DIY approach. Creating a will, trust, and just an estate plan in general, it's a complex task that requires a deep understanding of the law and how it impacts your certain situation. For example, we have John. John is a mechanic and he regularly fixes issues with cars every day of his life. He prides himself essentially being able to solve problems. He thought he could solve his lack of an estate plan problem by just creating a will himself. He did a little bit of research and then he went for it. Contrary to cars, the mistakes with an estate plan, they're not flagged. There's no code that goes off when there's something wrong with an estate plan. I generally tell people an estate plan, we don't have a trial run. We don't know whether a mistake was made until it's too late. And so our tip is use an expert. And so the Yanowitz Law Firm has been around for over 30 years, and we are able to help create a plan that is specific to your needs and can accomplish the goals that you have. Mistake number 2, not updating your documents regularly. Updating your estate planning documents, it's not fun, and I get that. There can be several reasons that you haven't updated your documents when something has happened in your life. For example, we have Sarah. She failed to update her will after getting married. So now what does that mean? There's huge major legal implications for what happens when you get married. And if you haven't updated your estate plan, there can be drastic consequences when she passes away. Her estate is not going to be distributed in the way that she most likely wanted it to be. Our tip is we want to be with you every step of the way. We can only help you with an issue if you tell us about it. For our clients, we offer a no-cost meeting every 3 years where we sit down with our clients and talk about their family. Has anything changed in the last 3 years, or have there been any changes in the law that are going to impact them as well? The third mistake that I routinely see is an accidental probate. And so what do I mean by that? We may have a trust-based plan set up to avoid probate. We may also be trying to avoid it with a will-based plan, but the funding doesn't always happen, or it's not done correctly, or someone buys another asset. It forces a probate. And so an example of that is, Mike, he has a trust, but he forgets that he has an interest in a cabin, and he doesn't convey that interest to his trust. At his death, this forces a probate strictly for the cabin because he did not fund it correctly, and it could have been avoided if the funding was done correctly. Our tip is that retitling property, it can be complex. And if you don't fund your trust correctly, you may end up in a probate that could have 100% been avoided. Mistake number 4, don't let your assets disappear. And so what do we mean by that? You know what you have, but your children or other beneficiaries may not. So it's very important that you have some type of inventory that at least identifies where the assets are that you have, so that your beneficiaries know where to look when you pass away. In this example, we have Robert. He didn't leave any information about his bank accounts and investments accounts, and therefore his family had a large difficulty finding those assets. There is a database to look for Minnesota unclaimed property. However, that process does take a long time to actually collect the assets. So our tip, we're going to give you all the tools that you need to help make the process for your family very easy to collect the assets. Mistake number 5, the price of procrastination. Planning for death or illness, it's not fun. It can cause stress and unease, and we get that. We're here to help you along the way, to talk through certain situations and find out what your goals are, because we want to help you make the process as smooth as we can. In this example, we have Lisa. She had an unexpected death and it left her family unprepared. It forced a probate. They had much more in legal fees. It also had taxes and caused conflicts in the family just because she didn't have a plan. She thought she had more time. Life is fragile. It's very important that you have an estate plan, which is why our tip is that we offer a no obligation consultation to talk with you about the estate planning process at our firm. We want to help you protect what matters most. We want to secure your loved one's future. So with that, thank you for joining today. And these are the top 5 will and trust mistakes that we see.